Hi, welcome to the next part of the Ranorex training. Today we will take a look at how code is used within Ranorex and how to create and use custom code. Ranorex has support for both C# and Visual Basic, but as we're already using C# for a lot of our code base within Skyline, I will only discuss the C# code. Okay, so first let's take a look at how C# code is used by Ranorex out of the box. First, let's take a look at recordings. So every recording has an expand button, and when you expand the recording, you can see that there are two code files, so two C# files for each recording. If you double click it to open, you will see that the C# file with the same name as the recording is basically just a representation of the same stuff you have in the recording as code. So if I open up the recording, we can maybe make a little comparison. So in my recording I have 8 actions like mouse click search box and so on and so on. If I go take a look in this C# file, then we see that my first action here is logging. It says mouse left click item in the search box, and then it's doing the actual action, so repo.dataminingcube.header. So it's using the repository item, and on the search box it will do a click, and then it has some specification in this case for which location of the search box, and then it's having delay in milliseconds. Second is using the keyboard to type something, and so on and so on. So this is basically simply a coded representation of what is in the recording file. Then we have the second one, the user code. In this case I have no user code for this recording, so it's basically pretty empty file with just an empty init method that's auto-generated. Okay, so going back to the code file of the recording, you will see here in Ranorex Studio that there's a small lock icon next to the file name. So that means it's locked for editing. So if I click into the file and I try to type something, that's not working. So this file is locked for editing, and any changes you do here should in fact be done in the recording file. In the user code file, however, you can type whatever you want, and it will work, and you can save it just like you would do in a normal coding file in Visual Studio. Okay, so then let's take a quick look in File Explorer. So in File Explorer you will see for each recording there's an RxREC file, there's the recording user file, and there's the user code file. If we open up the RxREC file, let's take a quick peek in that. You see it's basically an XML file, which also contains a representation of the recording. So from the File Explorer you could open up the recording CS file. I'm going to open it with Notepad this time, but you will open this with some kind of code editor like Visual Studio, and if you do so you can actually edit it here, but upon reopening it in Ranorex Studio or editing the recording in Ranorex Studio, any changes you make will be overwritten, so it's actually useless to edit it with a code editor. So let's not save our changes here, and go back into Ranorex Studio. Okay, so next to the recordings, also the repositories are using Ranorex code. So if I open up the expander on a repository, you will see there's an RxIMG file. If I open that one up, it's mostly binary stuff, so nothing we can do about that there. If we open up the repository CS, you will see this is a pretty chunky file with with definitions for each item that we've already created in our repository. So for the data miner cube library, it's already pretty big. Again, we have the lock icons, so we're not allowed or supposed to edit these from within Ranorex Studio. Okay, so Ranorex Studio is storing the repositories and the recordings first in an XML file, and based on the data in that XML file, it's then generating the C# file. So it's important that later on, when we make some changes or when we merge, the Ranorex merger will merge the XML file, and it's important that after that you do a rebuild to make sure that the C# files are correctly generated.